There are 5 main reasons why Sean O'Malley is no longer the UFC Bantamweight champion and lost to MERAB Dvalishvili last night at UFC 306. 3 of those can be blamed on Herb Dean, and 2 of them on Sean O'Malley. Let's start with the first one. Herb Dean, early in round 1, decided that he was going to listen to the protesting of MERAB Dvalishvili. And what happened there? Well, MERAB Dvalishvili claimed that he was getting distracted by the corner. And you can even hear him apologize to Herb Dean. And Herb Dean said, "Don't do this again." And then he spoke to someone on the side. I don't know, I guess he was talking to the crew that was also saying, "What the hell is going on here?" And he said, "You do your job, I'll do mine." Well, guess what? If the referee doesn't hear anything from the opposing corner and he doesn't hear the interference, then he's not supposed to listen to a protest to a guy who's in the middle of a fight that just started, puts his hands down, and is looking away from his opponent. That is grounds for automatic disqualification, or if not disqualification, then he should have let MERAB get beat up and lose. Because in the post-fight press conference, right after the fight, MERAB Dvalishvili admitted that he was distracted. Check this out.
Yeah, I was in and I'm fighting. I'm a professional fighter, I'm focused, and it never happened to me. I never pay attention to other corner, but of course, team's voice, it was very familiar because he was doing same thing to Aljo. There is the clip video on social media. Everybody we saw that, and he was doing same thing. Like he was doing very disrespectful way. MERAB, you gotta go. He was talking shit on me, and I tell him stop it, and nobody was telling him to stop. He was just keep doing this, and if you do same thing in basketball or soccer, they will do disqualification for you, but I guess here not, and that's why but I tell referee I'm sorry, like once referee tell me that's my job, and I said I'm sorry, and after I guess he stopped it because I still heard like some, but I don't care.
And because you admitted it, MERAB Dvalishvili, that is grounds for disqualification. That means that Sean O'Malley can actually protest the outcome of this fight and get a no contest, because you cannot simply stop because you're distracted. It is up to you, the fighter, to focus on the task at hand, which is the other fighter who is there to kick your ass. So, very pathetic call by Herb Dean. He should not have stopped it. He should not have called a timeout. Very poor decision making there. Number 2, we go back to Herb Dean. In round 2, Sean O'Malley had a freaking triangle. And here it is. I mean, you can see it for yourself. And Herb Dean steps in and he says, "You're grabbing his glove. Don't do that again. Here's a warning." And instead of resetting them and standing them up, he allows Sean O'Malley to be on his back and MERAB to simply grab his legs when he should have been either put into guard, 2, put into the triangle, 3, stood up. In that situation where you see a foul and you're not going to disqualify the other guy, probably because he feels stupid for stopping the fight in round 1, then you're supposed to stand the fighters up and reset, or put the fighters back in the exact position, because Sean O'Malley did not have to grab MERAB's glove in order to get to that triangle position. So therefore, MERAB Dvalishvili had to earn getting out of at least the guard. And the fact that he does not put him back into Sean O'Malley's guard shows poor refereeing. 2 stupid, very poor decisions by Herb Dean. Number 3, round 3. Herb Dean ignores the blatant illegal kick to the head of Sean O'Malley. Okay, now there are some new rules that just came out for the UFC. And by the way, the rule says if you have one knee down, you cannot get knee to the head. Watch this clip and listen to Joe Rogan very carefully.
That was illegal.
That is an illegal kick to the head. That is grounds for disqualification. That's twice during the fight. MERAB should have been disqualified. Now we go to the final 2 reasons, and I have to blame Sean O'Malley in this, all right? Sean O'Malley just was not aggressive enough during those moments when he had MERAB backed up against the cage. Like, I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, he used the same kind of trivial caution against, Chito Rivera. Was it like fear of a takedown? Because, at this point, he was already getting taken down, and we knew that he wasn't going to be dominant on the ground. He did a great job of getting up. There were several times during this fight where he could have been more aggressive, and he chose not to. It was almost like he was timid. Now, I don't know if that's a lack of energy. I doubt it, because this is the same way that he approached the Chito Rivera fight. There were several times during the Chito Rivera fight, especially after the flying knee, where he backed Chito into the corner, and then he just backs up. I say corner, but I mean fence. He backed him into the fence, and then he just backed up and let him get out. Just watch the fight. Watch UFC 306, MERAB Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. Watch how many times MERAB is getting caught up against the fence. And what does Sean O'Malley do? He just lets him get out. I mean, again, it just makes absolutely no sense. It might have worked against Chito Rivera. It was almost like Sean O'Malley lost all confidence in his striking ability, which is terrible. And by the way, you want to hear something very interesting? The last 5 weeks before he was scheduled to fight Chito Rivera, he had an injury which prevented him from grappling. Now, that's was pretty dangerous, allegedly, because there was a real possibility that he was going to be taken down and, you know, maybe he wouldn't have been able to work on those skills. But guess what he did work on for the last 5 weeks prior to beating the hell out of Chito Rivera? He was working on striking. In other words, he was working on what works for him because he's not a grappler. Let's face it. I don't care if he has a black belt. I don't care if he has a red belt. I don't care if he has a fucking coral belt from Mars, from Jupiter. So just very stupid. He wasn't aggressive enough. And the final reason Sean O'Malley lost is because during that last round, round 5, everyone in the place and me watching, frustrated, knew he was going to lose. So what he should have did, he should have started round 5 with one intention. I'm going to kill MERAB in the 5th. But there just wasn't a sense of urgency to finish MERAB at any point. We just treat this like a one-round fight, and he's losing. And the only way he can win this fight, just like Leon Edwards landed that head kick to Kamaru Usman to get the championship belt, he should have said, I don't care what happens. I don't care if I get knocked out. He instead opted to allow MERAB to escape, subsequently paid for it. At the end of the match, it just looks so pathetic. You know, at the very close of round 5 where he's on his back and he's trying to do an up kick. And you just see MERAB dancing around and acting all silly and shit. I understand he's happy, so I can't really take too much away from the guy. And you know what? He's actually a much nicer guy than what people give him credit for. If you listen to him speak and he's talking directly to the press. Sean, I don't know what the hell you were thinking. You just weren't aggressive enough during those times that you had him backed up against the fence. And in round 5, maybe it was Tim Welsh, maybe it was someone else. Someone really should have motivated your ass and said, you know what? Who cares if you get knocked out? Who cares if you get submitted? Go out there and try to kill this guy because you're losing the belt anyway. The only way for you to retain this belt, the only way for you to remain the UFC Bantamweight champion is to go out there and be a champion. You're going to have to knock him out. You're not going to submit him. Tim Welsh should have said, forget about the submission shit. Go out there, knock him out. And it just wasn't, I just didn't see the fire in Sean O'Malley's eyes. Maybe he was gassed from the last 4 rounds. I don't know what it was, but I doubt it because there were moments even in the 5th round where he's backing up MERAB against the fence and he just could not capitalize. And I think that just has something to do with him focusing way too much on the wrestling. How do I know he's focusing too much on the wrestling? Because moments ago, I mean, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, Sean O'Malley goes to his Instagram and starts practicing sprawls, wrestling sprawls. Dude, sprawling is not your fucking problem. Your problem is that you weren't aggressive enough during the entire fight. You had the skills, you were landing shots, you were backing him up. And by the way, you were also getting out of a lot of grappling exchanges. I mean, let's not forget, Sean O'Malley survived multiple submission attempts. Multiple. He did a great job getting out. He did a great job being evasive, even when he was getting punched in the face and dominated with the ground and pound. He showed resilience. He showed that he practiced his wrestling skills. Oh, you want to call anti-wrestling, which is the dumbest phrase because if you're wrestling, then that's wrestling. It's not anti-wrestling. I hate stupid phrases like this. Like, it's anti-jiu-jitsu, anti-wrestling, anti-striking. No, it's striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. So those are the reasons why he lost. He could have won. He could have at least tried in round 5. I would have given him so much more credit. I am still a huge Sean O'Malley fan. Do not get me wrong. But I will give my props to MERAB Dvalishvili. He is the new UFC Bantamweight champion, and I really do hope that they give Sean O'Malley a rematch, because if not, well, the UFC's full of shit.